Space is supposed to be predictable. Physics, gravity, orbits, equations that always add up. But astronauts, the most highly trained observers on Earth, have reported seeing things that don't fit the math. Lights that move against the rules of orbital mechanics. Objects that vanish in an instant. Glowing orbs that no one, not even NASA, has been able to explain. These aren't wild conspiracy theories from grainy backyard videos. These are accounts from astronauts in orbit, on the moon, and aboard the International Space Station. And they've left NASA with no easy answers. So what did they see, and what does it mean for us? Why astronaut accounts matter. Astronauts aren't random skywatchers. They're pilots, scientists, engineers, trained to stay calm under pressure, to document every anomaly, and to observe the world with precision. When a commercial pilot reports a UFO, people take notice. When an astronaut does, it's different. These are people literally walking in space, with a front row seat to phenomena the rest of us can't imagine. NASA, of course, is cautious. They often attribute sightings to space debris, ice crystals, or camera artifacts. But even with those explanations, some encounters remain stubbornly unresolved. And that's where things get interesting. The STS-48 shuttle encounter. One of the most famous cases happened during STS-48 in 1991. The Space Shuttle Discovery was orbiting Earth when its cameras captured something bizarre. Small, bright objects darting across the screen. Then, one object suddenly changed direction, almost at a right angle, and shot off into the distance. NASA's official explanation: ice particles interacting with the shuttle's thrusters. But skeptics point out that ice doesn't make sharp turns. The footage remains one of the hottest debated astronaut UFO videos ever recorded. The Gemini program encounters go back even further to the Gemini missions of the 1960s. Astronauts James McDivitt and Ed White reported seeing a strange object with arms sticking out of it while orbiting Earth. McDivitt was clear. It wasn't a piece of space debris, and it wasn't a reflection. He described it as a tumbler, metallic and structured. NASA dismissed it at the time as ice or space junk, but the detail in McDivitt's account has kept the story alive. He wasn't a man prone to exaggeration. Later, he admitted the sighting haunted him for the rest of his career. Buzz Aldrin and Apollo 11. Even Apollo 11, humanity's most famous spaceflight, had its own mystery. Buzz Aldrin has spoken publicly about seeing a bright object traveling alongside their spacecraft on the way to the moon. At first, they wondered if it was the rocket booster, but when they checked, the booster was far away. So what was this object? NASA quietly logged it, but didn't label it. Aldrin has said we should keep an open mind. Neil Armstrong himself avoided speculating, but the incident added to the sense that astronauts sometimes saw more than they were allowed to discuss openly. The ISS sightings. Fast forward to the modern era. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station have also seen things they can't explain. In 2005, astronaut Leroy Chiao was on a spacewalk when he saw a formation of lights whiz past the station. He described them as flying like a string of pearls, moving too fast to be a satellite, too controlled to be debris. In 2013, astronaut Chris Cassidy spotted a metallic object floating nearby. NASA later suggested it was a piece of debris from a Russian module, but Cassidy himself said its motion was odd. The footage remains available online, fueling debates to this day. NASA's official responses. NASA's stance has always been cautious. They emphasized natural explanations, ice crystals, lens flares, micrometeoroids, or discarded equipment. And in many cases, that may be true. But in 2022, even NASA admitted the UFO or UAP topic deserves investigation. They formed a study team to analyze unexplained aerial phenomena with scientific rigor. For the first time, the agency is publicly acknowledging that some sightings don't have answers. That's a big shift from decades of silence, and it adds weight to the astronauts who've been saying for years, "We saw something, we don't know what it was." Theories behind the sightings. So what could these objects be? There are several possibilities. Space debris. With thousands of satellites and rocket fragments in orbit, some sightings may simply be man-made clutter. Natural phenomena. Plasma discharges, reflections of sunlight, or even unknown atmospheric events. Experimental technology. Secret military projects, unacknowledged spacecraft, or advanced drones. Something else. The most provocative theory, of course, is that we're being observed by technology not of human origin. Astronomers emphasize that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. But astronauts have provided extraordinary testimony, and in some cases, extraordinary video. For decades, astronauts have seen things in space that left them shaken, intrigued, and at times even afraid. NASA explains some. Others remain mysteries. And while we may never know the truth behind each sighting, one thing is clear. The universe is not as empty as we once thought. The next time you look up at the night sky, remember, astronauts up there may be looking down, while something else might be looking back. If this deep dive into astronaut UFO encounters gave you chills, hit that like button and subscribe to Cosmic Crunch. We bring you the most mind-bending stories the universe has to offer. Drop a comment. Do you think astronauts are seeing secret human tech, or something much stranger? And don't miss our next video, because the cosmos always has another surprise waiting.